Beetle Reich, written by J.D. Okoro. When heaven burned and queens did roar and empire spilled black blood, Vermen Dungroll heaved free from his excremental mud. A sphere of stench and grass it was, dead hay, no myrrh or manger. This demon born for war would see glory, hellfire and danger.
Third Reich is a graphic novel that charts the rise and fall of the Third Reich. It uses insects as the main protagonists. Adolf Hitler is played by a character called Vermen Dungroll. I wanted him to be a dung beetle. And other characters within the book are played by other insects, beetles, butterflies, moths. It charts his rise from 1923 onwards. The Munich beer hall putsch is reflected all the way through to his spell in prison and his rise to power. The ascent into war and the ultimate downfall. I wanted to use a dung beetle for Adolf Hitler. Why? Because it's a dung beetle. It spends its life in dung. I later found out that dung beetles were actually strong and quite resourceful, and I thought, have I made a mistake in putting Adolf Hitler as a strong and resourceful person? But then I thought, no, it's a dung beetle. It rolls around in dung. It's unpleasant. Some of the other characters I've used in the book, like Mite Longhorn, that's Winston Churchill. Mite, M-I-T-E, being a type of arthropod animal, and also mite meaning strong. So I put a lot of thought into the various types of animals that I would use in the book.
The rock is an island surrounded with a deadly ring of U-bugs and flyers to stop all supplies entering. Nothing must cross the pond because of our solid blockade. Then, when the time is right for us, the rock we shall invade.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, when I was writing my book, I found that poetry would be a good way of conveying a message here. It's different. Writing it in pure text is interesting, but maybe a little bit too gritty. The subject matter is horrific in many parts, but the rhyming couplets, I felt, tells a story, pushes it along nicely. There's a certain meter and a pace that a rhyming couplet can bring. And also a lot of makes it interesting for the reader, I think, and also for the writer. I think the biggest challenge I had was working alongside the wonderful illustrator. He was actually based in Chile, and he still is, and we didn't actually meet, and so we were just trying to coordinate this book. The book didn't actually start out as a graphic novel. It started out as just pure text. It was a block of text, and it was hard to read, and we felt that pictures were needed. And this gentleman, Sebastian Valencia, was the perfect choice for the job. So the challenge was trying to work across time zones and also across the internet, trying to work together to put together something that's fused together, the words and the text.
While Dungroll planned his victory speech, Mosquito's troops fought back, driving the Redans from Myrmica and out of bivouac. The red ants kept reforming, more forces kept appearing. Now came the great counterattack that the Redans had been fearing.
Well, the story of the Third Reich and the Second World War has been with me ever since I was a child. I grew up listening to my mother tell me stories about my grandfather, who was a Commonwealth soldier. He was Nigerian and he fought for the British Commonwealth in Burma. I then went to secondary school, and my wonderful history teacher introduced us again to the Second World War, took us down to the war museums in London where we saw the actual rockets, and I was just inspired by that. I grew up in a place in London where the first V2 rocket landed, a place called Chiswick, and I just was very, very, what's the word, attached to the whole story there. Even as a child in primary school, I was in the choir, and one of the places that we actually visited was Dachau concentration camp. Now, I was 9 years old, and I was in the showers and walking down the stairs, and I'd never actually heard of Adolf Hitler at that point. All these moments in my life were coming together and just growing this deep sense of interest in that particular area.